On this episode of What Can Lee Shoehorn Crochet Into, we're going to be playing Frogs and Chains. Disclaimer, Frogs and Chains is a completely original concept. Any similarities to other games, say ones hypothetically involving legless reptiles and climbing aids, is completely coincidental. I've played a few rounds of Crochet Bingo at this point, and while I have no intention of stopping, between you and me, I may have a little something in the works. While I have no intention of stopping, I do find myself wondering what other games from my childhood can sort of be given a crochet twist. And then I remembered Snakes and Ladders exists, and I was like, yeah, that could work. So here's how this is going to go. I've made myself a nice little Snakes and Ladders game board. Yes, it is giving a lot of graphic design is my passion energy. I was going to fix it, but I sort of forgot and then I ran out of time, so it's going to stay like this for now. But we do have frogs and chains. The plan is to roll the dice. Whatever number we land on, that number is going to correspond to a crochet challenge. I have 100 of them. Some of them are a little bit similar because I ran out of ideas, but we do have 100 challenges on this board. I feel like this game is going to take forever, but I'm still excited to try. We're just going to make our way through the game board, climbing up chains when we get to them, sliding down the frogs when we land on those. For this, I know people tend to have their own house rules on how to end a game. Sometimes you've got to land exactly on 100. For this particular game, we're going with my house rules, and that is we just have to get past it. I think this is going to be an uphill battle already. I don't want to make it any harder on myself. So all that's left to do really is to start. Roll the dice for the first time. And I should warn you guys, not that it's going to make much difference to you because you're watching this video in the future, but I don't have very long to work on this today. So if everything abruptly changes in, I don't know, 5 minutes or so, that is the reason why. Okay, we ready for this? First roll, let's go. I pressed the wrong button. Roll. 7. Okay, we're going to head on to the board and 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. I landed on the tail end of a frog. That's fine. No disaster yet, but I'm going to head on over to my list of challenges, and number 7 is switch color every 10 stitches. I've got my scrap with me today, and the patterns that I'm going to be using are going to be a combination of ones that I've come up with during my previous challenges. So some of you might recognize the octopus and jellyfish from Crochet Bingo. The reason I'm using those again is because they're really small patterns, and I don't want to be here making patterns that are like 30, 40 rounds for each challenge. That would drag out far too long. I'm going to start with the octopus. I might make a few of those, and then I'll switch to the jellyfish later on. At some point in this challenge, game, whatever we're calling it, I might even design something new, but for now I'm just going to stick to the patterns that I've got. And this is where I've really got to keep count because I might have to switch colour halfway through my increase. So my first stitch in the increase may be one colour, my second stitch in the increase may be another one. 7 and then 8. Now that should give me my 12 stitches I need for round 2. This is really throwing me off having to count so many different things at once. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay. Now I need to do 2 more stitches in the orange. 1. And that's stitch number 9 in the orange. So the first stitch of my increase is going to be in orange, but then the second stitch in my increase will need to be yellow. Well, I did something right because I have 18 stitches in my round, which is what I needed. I didn't get thrown off with all that counting. But now I've forgotten how many red stitches I did. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, 6. I need to do 4 more. Well, the last 3 rounds have been pretty easy because there was no increases or decreases. I was just single crocheting around, but now we've hit the point where we need to start decreasing, and that is probably going to throw me off. So it was fortunate that I finished my last, or my 10th yellow stitch in the last stitch of the round. That worked out well. I need to switch to red, and then the pattern is 7 single crochet and a decrease. So that is 8 stitches. Alright, and then 7. Okay, we're up to 7 yellow stitches as of the end of round 8. Remember that, because I may not. I just need to count the stitches to make sure I've got the right amount. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, I have the right amount, and I said I was up to 7 yellow stitches. Now I need to add the stuffing. And I'm not going to be adding safety eyes to these challenge octopus or jellyfish. If there's one that I really like, I can always add safety eyes later. But I find for these challenges, it's just a waste of safety eyes. And I'd rather not do that. I'd rather keep them on quote-unquote good projects. And 3. Well, that's the body of the octopus done. Now comes the popcorn stitches. And this is going to be fun because every popcorn stitch is 5 double crochet, or uses 5 double crochet. I actually quite like this. It's almost like a sunset octopus. Very nice. I'm not going to weave the ends in because, as I said before, I don't have much time. So I'm just going to get straight into the next challenge. So I need to get my dice up again and roll. This time we have 11. And we're going to move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That was too close. That was way too close. Whew, okay. 18, we're going to head on over to the squares. 18 is alternate yarn over and yarn under each round. I'm going to start off with the blue and I'm going to yarn over. So for round 2, switch to my... Well, I didn't have to switch colours in this one, did I? I just had to switch yarn over and yarn under. What am I doing? What am I doing? So that was 6 for round 1. I don't need to change colours. So for round 2, I need to yarn under. Okay, round 3, we're back to yarning over. And then back to yarning under. I'm just going to keep alternating until the octopus is finished. Oh, Lee, you idiot. I did a bit of a whoopsie. I forgot to work in the back loops in round 8, and now I don't have stitches to put my popcorn stitch legs in. Ugh, so I'm going to have to work directly into the body. Bloody hell. Oh, good job, Lee. Good job. It's only the second one, and you're already screwing up. Well, I made that much harder than it needed to be. Wouldn't have happened if someone had remembered to work in the back loops. But anyway, what's done is done. That actually looks kind of cool. I can't really say it translates well on the camera, but you can notice the subtle differences between the yarn over and the yarn under. But anyway, I'm not going to spend too much time talking about that because I am quickly running out of time, and I might just be able to sneak in my third roll if I do it right now. So let's just jump to that roll. This time we've got 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 30. What are you 30? Be something nice and quick. So this one says crochet round 4 of octopus, which is actually good because that will be quick. So what I've done is I've split up the round of the octopus. So there will be one that says crochet round 1 of octopus, crochet round 2 of octopus. Now I've skipped straight to round 4, which means I'm just going to crochet to round 4 and leave it there. If later on I happen to land on a crochet round 7 of octopus, I will then crochet up to round 7 of that same octopus. Because that was really quick, I might just tempt fate and try for another roll, see if I can get that done before I have to go. Quick, hop on over to the roll and go. This time we have 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 34. No snakes, no frogs or chains just yet. What am I talking about? This is frogs and chains. Completely different game to snakes and ladders. Number 34 is inside out. So that's easy enough. I just have to flip my amigurumi with the stitches facing, or the wrong side of the stitches facing outwards. In the next round, I am supposed to work into the back loops only. And the reason I do that is so that the front loops are left exposed for me to crochet the popcorn stitches into. However, because this is an inside out pattern, I'm going to switch that up to make it front loop only, so then the back loops are exposed for me to work into. Because I need those stitches there, because we all found out what happens when I don't leave them there. Inside out octopus, all done. Looking a bit strange and fuzzy there, but I can't linger on that too long because I need to go. So I will see you guys in a few seconds. Ready, set. Not gonna lie, it's been a minute since I've played frogs and chains. I first started this back before I did Christmas crochet bingo. It is now March, but you know, life, other crochet projects, they get in the way. Because I'm not even sure where I was up to. So let's play a little bit of catch up. Let's check out the board. So I was on space 34. And I think I was using a D12. I wasn't using a D6. I think I did a D12, so we'll continue with that. We're just gonna hop straight back into this. Let's not waste any more time and roll. 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Space 42. What challenge was space 42? Use bulky yarn, my favorite. All right, I'll be back in a minute. This is all my remaining bulky / chunky yarn. So I'll get out probably the thickest weight yarn I have here and use that, which looks like it would be this here. Oh, will that be enough though? Bugger it, we're just gonna play yarn chicken. Might start off with the chain 2 method. I think the 9 might be a little bit too small, but I'm committed now. 2 stitches in, that's committed. We definitely lost at yarn chicken this time around. I don't think I have any other yarn like this, so we might have to drop down a couple of hook sizes. I have this that can be used up. I suppose there's this, and I probably prefer working with this over this, because I'm going to end up with pink snow everywhere if I go with that one. This is going to be one ridiculous looking octopus, I think. It looks like a pathetic blob of ice cream that some poor kids dropped on the ground. Look at it. But you know what? It's actually not as bad as I thought. Another challenge done. Let's roll the dice once again and see what we're in for next time. And roll. 3. 1, 2, 3. 45. You know, we're almost halfway through this board and I have yet to land on either a frog or a chain. This is not going the way I planned it. Let's see what challenge number 45 is, and that is play with doggo. That's got to be the best challenge on the board. That being said, I think I included pet cat on there too, so those two might be tied for first for best square on the board. Okay, I have to do what the board says. I have to do what the board says. I've got to go play with the doggo. The doggo. Pet the doggo. Should I pet the doggo? Should I lick me? Don't lick me. Don't lick me, Papa. Pet the doggo. He's a good dog. Hmm? You're a good boy. My lickies though. Too many lickies. Careful of the table. Careful of the table.
One eternity later.
Moving on from the best square ever, square 45. And we are going to roll for our next square, which will be in 4 spaces. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Square 49. What does square 49 have in store for us? Posture check. I need a book to put on my head. My posture is apparently excellent. That wasn't anywhere near as fun as square 45. Let's move on from that one. This time we're going to roll a 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Ooh, that was the closest I've come to a frog. I'm surprisingly a little bit disappointed I didn't get it, but this time we are on square 55, which is switch colour every 5 stitches. That's what I get for having 2 easy squares in a row. I get a pretty hard challenge. For some reason, there's dog hair in here. Why would that be? Our little purple octopus friend. That was not as painful as I thought it was going to be. Still a little bit painful, but not as bad as it could have been. I think we're going to have time and perhaps just enough battery power to do one more roll of the dice today. Let's see what it has in store for us. Go. A 6 again. Okay, where are you going to take us this time? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Number 61. Switch colour every 3 stitches. This is karma. This is karma for having 2 easy squares in a row. I just know it. Which one do we start with? Just start with this one. I don't think it really matters, to be honest. I've just finished round 6 of my little octopus, but the rest of it will be finished on the top-down cam because this one has 3% battery left. Make that 2% battery left. So I'm going to call it quits for today. I will bring you guys back next time and we're going to continue our frogs and chains challenge. Will we actually get a frog or a chain next time? Who knows? I hope so, because that was the whole point of this game, and hopefully I won't leave it another 3 months, so we'll be able to find out sooner rather than later. Alright everyone, we are back for another round, or a couple of rounds, of frogs and chains. This series hasn't turned out quite like I expected it to. Not very action-packed, not very much going on. I expected to hit a frog or a chain by this point at least. We finished off on square 61 and we've not had a frog or a chain at all yet. Will that change this time around? There's only one way to find out. So I'm just going to get straight into this. I'm going to roll my dice. I'm going to make sure my screen recorder is on first. Then I'm going to roll my dice. 11. Okay, that was a very weird okay, wasn't it? I didn't mean to do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 10 and 11. I finally landed on a chain. I get to jump up from square 72 all the way up to square 91. So I've skipped half the bloody board. Let's be fair, it's about a quarter of the bloody board. Anyway, let's check out what challenge 91 is. Use a super bulky yarn. I don't know if I have any super bulky yarn left, but I'll go through my chunky yarn bag and I will use the thickest weight yarn that I have. This is sort of the thickest yarn that I have currently, the Premier Parfait stuff. What I thought I'd do to make that sort of super bulky is just combine two of the thicker weight yarns. So I'll just work with two threads held together. And I'm just going to stick with the octopus pattern for now, I think. This is so tangled. I think the largest hook I have is this, or technically the largest hook I have I think is a 20mm, but that'd be too big in this case, I think. Is square 91 all complete. Using these two colors, it kind of reminds me of like a raspberry vanilla like swirl yogurt, and as I was crocheting it, my brain is just whispering to me, eat it. But no, I am not going to be eating this, so shut up, brain. Weird shit my brain does aside, we can now move on to our next roll. Will the game end here? The way things have been going, probably, but we shall see. Where is my dice? I've got too many tabs open once again, but let's roll. What have we got this time? Well, it's not going to end because we got a 1. That means we're going to move across to square 92. And for square 92's challenge, what have we got? 92 is use picot stitch somewhere in the pattern. I mean, I've done that already in square 91's challenge, but I can always add some picot stitches to the top here. That's easy enough to do. We're going with pinks today, apparently. Alright, I'm going to put the picot stitches in round 3 here. Picot stitches to the top here, sort of as like little, I suppose they would be ears. Not entirely anatomically correct, but whatever, it's an amigurumi octopus. But I actually really like how it turned out. Look at that. That's so cute. I am going to roll for my next challenge. This may end up being the last one for today because I'm nearing my limit. I need to stop crocheting soon. So let's head on back to our dice and roll. 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Square 96. You can tell how badly this game's going, that I'm disappointed that I didn't get booted down the game board. Oh well, 98.
Yeah, so I bug it up here. This is Editingly, and for some bloody reason that I cannot figure out, when I landed on square 96, I then said square 98 and proceeded to crochet the challenge from square 98. I address this in further detail in a minute, but yeah, that's what happened here.
We have 3 strands of yarn held together. I can do that. We've sort of had a bit of a theme go on here today, so I'm going to stick with that. We're going with the cream, the pink, and the red-ish yarn. It's red, but with some pinky undertones, so I think it'll match okay. Okay, it was three strands held together, wasn't it? I better double check that before I start. Is square 96 all finished. 3 threads held together, not dissimilar from the first one we made. Kind of like the theme that we had going on today. We went with the pinks. Not a colour I usually work in much, but it's quite nice. I like it. Well, I'm going to leave it there for now. I will see you all in a few seconds. What will be a few seconds for you, but it's probably going to be at least a few days or a couple of weeks for me. Yeah, so I did something incredibly stupid. Where we left off last time was square 96, or at least it should have been square 96. I landed on square 96, but for some reason that completely escapes me, I said square 98 and then proceeded to crochet the challenge for square 98. I don't know why I did this. I don't know where my brain went, but it happened. To make up for that, I have gone ahead and crocheted the actual challenge from square 96, which was, where is it? Crochet to round 10 of Octopus. If you recall, earlier in this challenge, which was like 6 months ago at this point, but earlier in this challenge we crocheted to round 4 with the green yarn. So I've just gone ahead and finished that. Even though I screwed up, I did want to properly crochet the challenge for square 96. Because I've already crocheted it, I am just going to count the octopus from square 98. So depending on what we get today, for example, if I roll a 2, I'm just going to count that square as already complete. I've already done it. If I get anything else, we will crochet that instead. And if I go past 100, well, that means this challenge is over. And I end on a pretty major boo-boo. So let's hope that doesn't happen. Oh, bloody hell. When I was looking back through the footage, I could not believe it. I was just like, what are you doing? How do you make that mistake? I don't know how, but I did. Alright, I got up my dice. Now we're just going to roll and see what we get for our next challenge. If we have another challenge at all. Roll. 11. Well, 11 does take us past square 100. So technically this challenge is over. What an anticlimactic end to Frogs and Chains. That really did end with a whimper. To be fair, this entire challenge hasn't quite gone the way I imagined it would when I first came up with the idea. I think we hit a chain once, and apart from that, we've had no frogs, no other chains. We've just gone back and forth across the board, which I can't really call it frogs and chains at that point. It's more just chain. But that's what happens when you try these new ideas. Sometimes they work out, sometimes they don't quite work the way you intended. You just got to give it a go, and I did that. Despite it not going the way I thought that it would, I did have fun. I crocheted a bunch of cute little octopi. And you know what? There's nothing stopping me from revisiting this challenge to make things a little bit more frogs and chains centered, a little bit more difficult. Instead of using a D12, I might use a D6. That might increase my chances of actually landing on a frog or a chain. There are definitely changes we can make to improve this formula. Perhaps one day, if I ever feel confident enough, we can do it on a live stream. That could be fun. But for now, we're going to leave it there. Leave it on that fairly disappointing end. But before we finish up entirely, we do need to do... And today's featured creator on the hookup is That Royal Creation, or Royal Creations by M. And she says, I learned how to crochet from my mum when I was in elementary school, and now I share my creations on social media. I love all things related to yarn. I have been sharing my journey of crochet on social media since 2019. And if you'd like to see any of the creations that the Royal Creation has shared, please go and check out her links. They will be down in the description. Also in the description is a link to a Google form if you would like to apply for the hookup for yourself. Thank you all very much for watching. A further thank you to my patrons for your continued support. Like the video if you enjoyed it, share it if you think it's worth sharing, and I will see you all next week with another video.